Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good afternoon, and I hope your Wednesday is going well. I'm First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips, hanging out here at the First Alert desk. So we're happy to have you here midweek. I know the weather is a little bit quieter today, but we still are going to be looking at some interesting weather videos. And also, I have a preview of some of the forecasts for some of the local holiday events that are coming up later this week and over the weekend. So this will kind of be the first to look at those. So make sure that you are sticking with us here this afternoon, especially if you're going to be going to some of those holiday parades, and also if you want to meet the man in the red jacket, because I know he's coming to Mid-Michigan this weekend, so hopefully he's pleased with the forecast. But I do kind of want to start out with some of the videos that I saw on social media and so forth. So I am going to start out with this first video of some hail. And when I was first watching this video, it doesn't look like we have hailstones. It actually looks like water that's trying to come through. But this was actually captured in Columbia, Missouri on Monday. The National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm warning as this storm was coming through the city. So Kellen Butler, he described it as a big hailstorm, and you can see kind of those hailstones covering the road. So this actually happened around 4:15, so it doesn't look like there was too many people that were doing the evening commute at that time frame, but I can only imagine. It just looks like we have rushing water, but we actually just have all those hailstones there. So we have had some ice pellets. We had a little bit of sleet last night locally, and of course caused some of our roadways to be a little bit slick in some spots, but overall, we are going to find that we didn't have anything like that last night. So that's just one of the interesting videos that we were able to capture. Now our next one, this one you are going to see here, is coming in from Las Vegas. And when I saw this one come in, I was like, oh man, do I want to share it? And I thought, yes, because there's definitely some safety things that we need to discuss here. So first off, we kind of set the stage. They've been working through some heavy rounds of rain. They had some flash flooding warnings that were issued in the Las Vegas area by the National Weather Service. Ben captured this video of that heavy downpour that really just left roads swamped with flood water, and he even reported that it was several inches deep here. So that's kind of where the whole safety part of it is, because it doesn't take that much water for it to sweep you off your feet. It's about 6 inches of water, and for how fast that it is kind of rushing here down the roadways, it only takes 6 inches to knock a human off their feet, and it only takes about 12 inches of water for a car to start to float. Because I know you're thinking, okay, my car, it's really heavy, but when you have those tires on there, it's kind of like having those inner tubes at the pool that float. Well, you have 4 of those then to help your car float along. So it looks like kind of those heavier amounts of rain are just kind of on the edge of the road, and people were definitely driving fairly fast to get through here. But hopefully we don't have any too many flooding concerns in the upcoming forecast, considering how dark or how dry it is. And also just something to keep in mind here going into these darker days and kind of shorter daylight hour days is that it's hard to see really what's underneath that water. So this is just kind of that safety reminder that we don't have any flood issues, and I really don't have a lot of rain in the forecast either, but it's always kind of good to have that reminder, especially when we're kind of seeing some of our friends across the country picking up on some of that wet weather coming through. Now our next video, this one kind of made me laugh a little bit. So this is coming in from Mammoth Mountain Ski Resort. So of course they got their buddy, definitely happy to see some snow. So probably some of you were dancing like that a couple weekends ago when we had snowfall here, and maybe others were not busting a move like that. But there at the resort, they received about 11 to 16 inches of new snow on Tuesday in about a 24-hour period. So that atmospheric river that we talked about a little bit yesterday when we met here at about 12:45. So that was still bringing in quite a bit of moisture to where we were able to see plenty of snow being made. So crews there, of course, trying to move that snow around. They even mentioned over the weekend that they had about an 18-inch dump of snow, fresh powder that kind of came through over the weekend. So for folks who are hoping to get some winter weather here, I don't quite have it in the forecast, but it can kind of at least get us excited. And maybe with Thanksgiving coming next week, if you're going to be doing some traveling, maybe you want to do some skiing. the resort said that they are opening for the season tomorrow. So if you want to go and hit the slopes, there's some places maybe not quite in Michigan yet that are open, but hopefully we can get that forecast to cool down and we can soon start making snow here naturally with those snow machines. But it doesn't look like those snow machines were really needed there. So a lot of fun to be had when we're talking snow, but definitely crews there. We're having to do a lot of work as well. So that's kind of just that winter taste. If you're excited to see some winter weather come in, you can let us know on those Facebook comments and just kind of let us know if you're excited, or maybe you just want to wait a little bit longer. But either way, winter's going to come whether we're ready or not, and we've already had a taste of that here. That was kind of that we're ready or not part of the forecast. So we are going to continue to kind of see here through the next couple of days what our forecast brings, especially for the holiday events that we are expecting later this week. So I am going to start here in our forecast with that after school because it's 2 o'clock, and we probably have some students that are going to be getting out of school here soon. So we are going to be looking at some of those clouds to be moving in. We've had quite a bit of sunshine, but we are going to continue to see that we have those clouds that are kind of filling in for us, and we will be looking still at some peaks of sun coming through. Actually, I do want to share this camera that we have of the Mackinac Bridge. So you can actually see that we have a lot of sunshine here and just some thin clouds as we have that sunshine just kind of holding here. Not too many people traveling north or south, but still a beautiful afternoon. Of course, a lot of the leaves have fallen. There's still a few that are out there, but it's a beautiful afternoon, not only in the Straits of Mackinac, but locally. We're also looking at some pretty nice weather. So that means that our students, as they're getting home from school, that they are going to find that they have temperatures that are going to be into the lower 40s eventually by about 5 o'clock. That's, of course, when that sun sets. So if you have some kind of evening after school plans, whether it's concerts or you're picking up kids after a lengthy practice, you are going to have temperatures falling back into the 30s during that time frame. And we will be keeping the forecast dry. So that's really kind of the nice part of this forecast. Now, as we take a check here in downtown Flint, I used this camera during our noon newscast, and it was nice and bright. We had kind of that sunshine painted across all of our buildings, but now it just looks cloudy here. So those clouds have definitely started to fill in. It's not nearly as bright even in the vehicle city compared to what we had in Mackinac, and we'll continue to see those clouds. Let's take a check of our sky tracker. I have it zoomed out here so we can really kind of see the spans of all the clouds that are coming in. There's a little bit of rain in northern Minnesota. That doesn't seem to be headed in our direction, but maybe some of our friends in the UP might be able to pick up a raindrop or two. Now, thankfully, the clouds on the leading edge of this are a little bit on the thin side. And yet we will find that they are a little bit thicker, sitting there stretching from about Lansing to Ludington. So that's why we are going to have some moments of some shade here this afternoon, or at least some filtered sun. So it is going to just continue to kind of build in. As far as getting any good clearing, I just don't see a good trend of that. And even when we look at our amount of cloud cover, though we are going to find that we're sitting at about 50, 60, 70% cloud coverage, that still allows for some sun to come through, but it's just not going to be a lot, especially after we had a beautiful morning, considering we were using our sunglasses and it was just really nice out with that sunshine. So those brighter conditions really do add a lot, but it doesn't look like they're able to hold here. It's just kind of a reminder, it seems, some of these more cloudy days that we are headed into a cooler season, and we start to see more of these cloudy days. We're no strangers to needing a little bit of sunshine during the winter season and kind of hoping for it. So we'll have to take advantage of it when we can find that in the forecast. But we are still going to be talking about some of those holiday events that we have coming our way and how the forecast is going to be shaping up. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we're going to be right back in that 60 seconds. And we are back, so we're going to dive right into that forecast as our sunshine is going to then allow our temperatures to warm up a little bit more. Yesterday we were seeing our readings into the 30s. Today we are back into the 40s. We're still a little bit below average. Normal high should be around 45 degrees. So we're kind of getting there, but we are kind of falling just a few degrees short of that mark. So we are finding that we're at 42 right now in Flint, Bad Axe. We're at 39 now in Tawas. Same for Houghton Lake. We have 42 along 127 between Mount Pleasant and Clare, 43 in Midland, Gladwin, and Standish, and we're at 40 degrees in Port Hope. We have 42 and also in 45 in Lapeer. So you can see that we are trying to hold on to some of that heat from that sunshine, but we're really going to struggle to even add just a few more degrees as we go into the afternoon. Still 40s for November. Pretty comfortable. So if you do want to go and get some of those leaves picked up, I know we have some trees that are still holding on to their leaves while others are finding that, nope, we're done. We're shedding those for the season and we'll just start this process over in the spring. So if you do need to get some leaves cleaned up, this afternoon is a pretty good time to do that with the dry weather. And also our winds have been fairly light, so that kind of helps to where you don't have to worry about putting them in a pile and having them blow away. But even as we go into Thursday, we were watching that system. We were kind of talking about how that can be coming around, and we'll be seeing that that system is kind of falling apart a little bit. So that means that we're going to have that dry forecast still holding on for Thursday, but come Friday into the morning, we have just a few isolated showers that are possible. So the back half of the day is looking good. So if you do need to get some leaves cleaned up before the weekend, Friday afternoon is an okay time frame, but it's just the morning that it might make those leaves damp and maybe just a little bit tricky to get cleaned up. So just kind of keep that in mind, that there is just that small rain chance. Now, if we can kind of keep some of those isolated showers out, then all day would be a pretty good day to do some of that yard work. So we will see that that forecast could be bumping back up into that green leaf zone. But if you're just waiting to the weekend to get that taken care of as far as the leaves are concerned, you're going to see Saturday and Sunday are pretty good. Both days we have dry weather, and also temperatures are going to be warming. So you can probably just go and put your hoodie on and have that rake in hand, and then you'll be pretty warm doing all of that work to get those to the curb. So we at least, though, have a nice stretch of weather to get a little bit of yard business taken care of. In the hour by hour, you'll see that we have the cloud cover. That's going to be hanging around here through the day and kind of trying to build and pick up a little bit. During the night, we'll have some breaks in the clouds, but we really start to see then Thursday morning that we have some more strong cloud coverage coming in. It's a little more thick and dense. So I am going to be monitoring for a little bit of a drizzle potentially to come through. That's kind of possible when we have a setup like this. Though the signal isn't super strong for that, it is still a possibility that I want to just keep in mind. So that's something that I'm watching in the forecast. But right now we are going to keep that Thursday dry, but very cloudy, kind of overcast skies. So enjoy the sunshine that we have today, even if it's kind of a little bit of a mix right now. Hopefully you were able to get some sun earlier, but enjoy what you can pick up here for the rest of the day. And going into Friday morning, you can see that those clouds break apart a little bit. I'll be keeping some partly to mostly sunny conditions for Friday, though we do have that chance in the morning. I'll actually go back here. You can see not too much happening. See, it's really kind of that weak signal before sunrise. So you can kind of see that we have some specks of green coming through. So that's why it's pretty isolated for Friday. It's not widespread by any means. So we are going to be watching for at least a few sprinkles to start out the day on Friday, but a lot of us might actually just sleep through it to where then we have that drier weather by the time we head to the bus stop or to head to work, and then we do have the drier weather going into our Friday evening. So that is good news for all the events that we have. Speaking of Friday evening, let's start out with the tree lighting and the fireworks. Those are going to be happening in Saginaw on Friday night. I believe the event kicks off around the 5 o'clock hour. I want to say it was just a little bit post that. Of course, we'll be talking about it here on TV5 News, so make sure that you are tuning into our newscast starting at 4 p.m. But the good news is that the earlier that you're there, it's going to be pretty mild and comfortable. We'll have temperatures trying to get close to that 50 degrees, and then we do fall back into the 40s as the evening continues on. So it's still going to be a nice night. And the big win is that it's dry. Of course, we can bundle up and we can layer, but it's always kind of hard to navigate all the events that are happening. So with it being dry, it's just going to make it so much easier to get to all of that fun. So just still have the coats, the hats, and the gloves. I know when you see 44, you're like, oh, that's not too bad. You know, we're used to hanging outside and doing some of the holiday stuff with it being into the 30s. Well, it's going to drop down pretty quickly around 9 o'clock. You can see we're breaking into those 30s. And I do have a little more cloud cover in than what even some of the weather models are showing. So if we actually clear out a little bit better, that's also going to help temperatures to drop fairly quickly. So I do anticipate a couple of changes, considering that we're still about 2 days out, and getting down to kind of that hour by hour forecast is still kind of a stretch when we're talking about that fine tuning of a forecast. Now, also going to be happening this weekend on Saturday is going to be the Midland Santa Parade. So the lineup starts at 9 a.m. and that's going to be right there by the football stadium. And then we will see just getting out of the freezing lower 30s at that time frame. And then we continue to build some heat in. We'll have some sun, just a few clouds kind of hanging around going into Saturday. But as I mentioned, the weekend is dry. So that means for the Santa Parade that we'll have dry weather for that event. Temperatures still into the 30s. So I would take the lawn chair while you're sitting along the streets to kind of get that wave in to all your friends that are in the parade, or especially you want to get a wave into Santa. So I assume that he'll be pleased with the forecast, though we don't have any snow this weekend for him. I'm pretty sure he's still going to be happy that we have at least some cooler conditions to help it feel a little bit similar to the North Pole. Probably not nearly as chilly, but at least we are trying to help to make him feel a little bit more welcomed here in mid-Michigan. And then right after the Midland Christmas Parade, we have the Saginaw Christmas Parade. So that's going to be in downtown Saginaw. We are going to find, I have a little bit of a typo there. I have my numbers just a little bit backwards. So I'm going to make that change. So while I do that, I'm actually going to run another quick break so that you can, so I can make that change for you. So we'll just have those numbers fixed up here in about 30 seconds. All right, my apologies. I have that graphic all fixed up now. So we do have temperatures that are going to be warming up through the morning. We're still going to be looking at those mid to upper 30s and eventually getting into the 40s by the time the parade actually does start to wrap up. So we are going to find that we still have some sun, some clouds. It'll be a pretty good morning in downtown Saginaw. No reason to not be there, and also get those wishes made into Santa. There's plenty of events that are going on this weekend. So we want you to take advantage of the nice weather, get outside and get together with the community to kind of ring in those holidays. Now, we also are going to find that we do still have some lights to get on the house. We were just running a story during the news today at noon of a house that was all decked out over in England. So we have got to go and get those holiday lights up for us. So in the next 5 days, can you hang up those lights? Yes, you can. Very much you can get the job done. The forecast is actually helping you out with the dry weather, and we are going to actually find that it's pretty mild. So while you're out there, you don't have to worry about going and hanging those lights up with your gloves on. You should be comfortable enough to where you can just have your hands working feverishly to get the lights strung along the house. So it is some nice days that we have to get all of those decorations up and going. I actually just saw in our newsroom that Bay City, they're going to be doing a holiday lights contest. So make sure you're checking in with them to see the rules for the contest, the times, the dates. And of course, if you just like driving around to see some of those holiday lights, you'll want to check out Bay City. I know Carlton Township, they've also been doing some holiday lights contests throughout the season. So haven't heard yet the details of theirs, but we are going to hope that you have still some great weather to take advantage, get your entries in, and then you can go and really make Mid-Michigan a bright place to spend for the holidays. I do also want to talk about those temperatures within the next 5 days because they do warm up. We are going to be looking at some upper 40s and even some 50s trying to come through. I have some 50s on Sunday and even trying to hold through here on Monday. I still anticipate those 40s. That's a little more traditional to be there, but still a mild forecast, whether you're going to go and do holiday fun or whether you're going to be putting those lights up. Saturday, potentially just a little bit cooler, but still 40s, 50s. That's what you're going to find in that 7-day forecast. But again, tonight, I do want to first alert you that we'll have some cooler conditions. Our lows are going to be bottoming out into the mid-20s. We've been seeing some 20s and teens here, so it's kind of becoming our new normal. However, that is a little bit below average, but we are going to be seeing that our nights are a little bit cooler, so make sure that you are bundled up, you have those heated blankets going so that you can get some good sleep in. Speaking of the holidays, I did update our seasonal countdown, so in case you haven't lost track of time, then you know all of these, but Thanksgiving is next week, believe it or not. I know the time seems to be flying by. I know when I was filling out my forecast sheet yesterday, and I thought, oh my goodness, we're already through the middle of November. So time is quickly going. So that's why Turkey Day is going to be here next Thursday. So we have 8 days. So if you're going to be doing some holiday travel, I plan on Friday to start kind of previewing what that looks like, because we would be about 6 days out at that point. So we can kind of get the big picture. So if you have family flying in, or if you're flying out of mid-Michigan, we'll have some of those travel details, at least kind of the big picture coming through later this week. And then on December 1st, that's the beginning of kind of that snowmobiling season, and the trails will be opening then. If you're in the market for some snow, we'll have to see what next week brings. But for now, I'm not looking at a very favorable snow chance. But of course, if you're willing to drive our friends in the UP, they might have a little bit of snow. Of course, watching the lake effect, you might be able to find a good band to help you get that season started. Now, the Christmas holiday is still about 36 days away, so if you want to get together with family and friends, you have some time to get some of those plans made. But also, if you're doing some shopping, then it might not feel like you have all the time there, but we still have over a month to get that Christmas holiday set up. And then New Year's is about 43 days, so we only have 43 days left here in 2025, and then we'll be turning those calendars over to 2026. Speaking of time flying, those 43 days, I'm sure, are going to be going very quickly. If not for you, I'm sure I'll feel how quickly that they're going to be going by. A final check of that 7-day forecast, though, we do have those 40s that are going to be here kind of warming up for the rest of the week. We are going to be looking at those clouds building in and kind of sticking around for us on Thursday. Friday, we just have that morning chance that we had discussed a little bit closer towards sunrise, or just a little bit out ahead of it. It's going to be pretty isolated. Not everybody's going to be seeing that rain, but we are going to at least keep a dry forecast for Friday night, considering all the tree lightings that are going on, the fireworks at Ojibwe Island. And then for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we have those sunshine, some clouds that are trying to come through, but dry weather, temperatures 40s, 50s, and then we'll be seeing a slight chance of some rain by day 7. So we're kind of watching that forecast, considering that is going to be getting us a little bit closer towards some holiday travel. But if you do want to keep an eye to that Thanksgiving forecast again, about Friday, I'll be here at the First Alert desk, and we can have a preview and kind of talk big picture items on what the holidays are going to be shaping up here throughout the next week. Now, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Chris Eastlake, he's going to be back here tonight at 9 o'clock. He'll be kind of keeping an eye on the forecast for the evening and what we can also expect for the rest of the week, so make sure you tune into that. I do appreciate you joining me, though, this afternoon, and hopefully you'll be able to join some of our other live streams. Just a reminder, you can catch them at WNEM.com and on the TV5 News app. You can also watch them at the WNEM YouTube and Facebook pages, and then you can also stream TV5. If you have a Roku, Fire Stick, Android, or Apple TV, if you use any of those products, all you got to do in the search bar is search WNEM, and then that app will pop up so that you can hang out with us here at the First Alert desk, but also you can see some of the latest headlines that are going to be coming up. So we'll be streaming back there at 4 o'clock. So hopefully you'll join Colette and myself for that latest round of the afternoon news. But thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.